The Scopes monkey trial of 1925 was a manufactured outrage scenario where the ACLU convinced a 1-year math teacher to pretend that he had taught evolution, he hadn't, so that he could be prosecuted under the Butler Act. The Butler Act in Tennessee forbade the teaching of evolution. It actually said it is unlawful for any teacher in any of the universities, normals, and all other public schools of the state, which are supposed in whole or in part by the public school funds of the state, to teach any theory that denies the story of the divine creation of man as taught in the Bible, and to teach instead that man has descended from a lower order of animals. So, couple of things. First off, Scopes himself, John Scopes, never actually taught that. He was a math teacher and a coach, so he never actually taught biology to anyone. So he couldn't have actually violated the law in the first place. The entire thing was mostly set up to create a legal precedence to try and disprove Christianity in a legal setting. The whole thing was widely televised, not televised, but was widely broadcast. It was a very, very, very pompous affair. Clarence Darrow, the defense attorney, never actually bothered to defend his client, John Scopes. And in fact, he actually cut the trial short and kept his opposing lawyer from actually having closing statements by admitting about what would have been halfway through the trial that his client was in fact guilty, intentionally throwing the trial so that they could then try and move it on to a higher court. The entire thing was specifically to try and put a legal precedent on the books, suggesting that teachers should be allowed to actually teach what they wanted to or what they felt was appropriate, as opposed to being restricted in what they were allowed to teach. Of course, the opposite is what happened, since that was the actual intent. The actual intent was to restrict people from being able to teach Christianity and to force the only thing that was legally allowed to be taught in schools to be evolution, which is the situation where we find ourselves today.